So, you've returned. Yet another day of gainful employment, I imagine. Lucky you. Of course, I haven't been successful. I've continually failed at everything I've attempted ever since I found I've continuously failed at every single thing I've attempted since arriving in your world, so of course how does one write a resume? It's such a strange practice to begin with. Certainly, a record of prior education would be vital when it comes to the choosing of a court mage, perhaps, but for restaurant staff, really? What even can I say? Oh, yes, I'm quite capable of doing dishes. First of all, I'm not. Second, I'm sorry, I'm just tired and frustrated. And there are no positions in this world that suit my skill sets according to this career website. No use for spirits, no use for magic, not really. And all of this is without even considering my lack of records, which, again, is utter nonsense if you ask me. What's the point of any of this? If I'm here and I'd like to work and I'm willing to do so, that should be all the reason you need to accept me as an employee, but no, I must have some form of valid identification and a bank account. It's nonsense. Your world is nonsense. I expect I do sound bitter today. Perhaps because I am. Only the least reputable of establishments would even consider hiring someone like me. Even though I am one of the most qualified and successful students of the Magical Academy. Alright, I need to step away from this device for a moment. I need to think of something else. Am I going to ask how your day was? No, not at all. Let me guess. A customer was rude. And you spilled something, perhaps. Well, I apologize for being snippy. Look, I don't dislike you. After all, you are someone who made the choice to let me stay as I get my feet under me in these circumstances. It's an honourable and good thing to do. You are an honourable and good person. Having said that, from a personal standpoint, there is nothing I would like more than to leave this place and never return. Truly, that is what I desire more than anything else in the world right now. And so it's a bit silly, when I spend my entire day agonizing over how to get by in this world and how to return from it. I spend my entire day fixating on that issue. And you come home and you say, oh, wouldn't you like to know how my day went? Not particularly. It's low on my list of priorities. Right, so I've continued studying some of these advanced spells that, I hadn't really dabbled with before. I'm beginning to suspect that, I don't think your world is without magic. And I know we've had this conversation before, and I know that I was provably incorrect before. And I will admit, this world at present is one lacking in magic. But this is important. Look here. Do you see this? I'll explain. This ritual here is used to prevent spirits from entering a given location. It's a sort of ward. Most mages could create something like this. But if you get to these more advanced spells here, it is in fact quite possible to broaden the range of such wards substantially. I was aware of this possibility before, but not the method by which it's achieved. Quite importantly, there's no real outer limit on how much can be done, how much space can be altered and warded against spirits. And within these realms, within these spaces, wherein the spirits cannot reach, magic ceases to function, because magic is dependent on the spirits, you see. What matters is the magnitude of sacrifice involved. And that is where the true limit lies. It's, quite the demanding thing to prevent the function of all magic within a certain area, and to expand that area the cost increases exponentially, but it's not entirely outside of the realm of possibility that somewhere in this world's distant past, someone performed this ritual and broadened it, expanded it so that the bounds of the spell exceeded that of the world. In other words, if my hypothesis is correct, then there may be spirits yet. And to access them and call upon their aid, all I would need to do is either find a way to undo the ritual and allow them to return, or, alternatively, escape the bounds of this world. To cover the entire globe in such a spell would take tremendous power. I find it highly unlikely that this power exceeds the bounds of your solar system. Hells, I'd be surprised if it extended to the nearest other planet. You're laughing? You're laughing at me, I get it. I understand, all right. Let me go onto this job searching website of yours. We'll see if they have any positions open for astronaut. Learned that term recently. As soon as I realized the potential that there might be spirits outside of this world, I immediately did some research on your society's efforts to breach the bounds of this world, and it's honestly, for a people that have no magic whatsoever, can't teleport, can't do anything like that, it's fairly impressive. Regardless, I know I wouldn't be capable of becoming an astronaut. Certainly not. The physical conditioning required is simply unacceptable. I can't do it, I won't. And again, it would also be dependent on acceptance. And if I can't get a job at a restaurant like you, well, I highly doubt any spacefaring organizations would give me a second glance. And yet, you should know, as I continue to fiddle with this nonsense resume, you should keep in mind that, well, even absent magic, my lifespan is likely to well exceed yours. And, well, anyone else alive in this world. In other words, there's a serious likelihood that I will live long enough to witness recreational space travel. In which case, within the next, let's say, 200 to 300 years, I will almost certainly have a chance to return. Having said that, I would much prefer to return sooner. But there's hope at least. Oh, I look tired, do I? Complimenting me today, are you? I'm bitter. I'm tired. My ideas are laughable. Well, maybe they are. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just a fool. Maybe I'm just desperate. Maybe I'm bitter and unempathetic. Maybe I'm not personable. Maybe I'm arrogant. Maybe I'm many things. I miss home. I really do. I miss my home more than anything in the world, and I would give anything to return there. It's familiar to me. The places, the people, the function of the world. I have friends there. Not many, as, well, the majority of people see me as you do, as someone arrogant and rude and abrasive. But there were some who chose to associate with me nonetheless. I have siblings. Did you know that? I was the eldest daughter of my family. I have a brother and a sister. And despite everything about me, because rest assured I am well aware of my flaws, I love those two more than the moon and stars. And they must be so terribly worried. And so, of course, it's only natural I'd cling to anything that gives me hope. That makes me think perhaps this isn't forever. Perhaps I'll get to see their faces again. Of course, again, I'd prefer not to wait that long, and so I've been doing some research. It's difficult. The body of knowledge I have to work with is functionally just what's inside my head and what exists within a few select magical tomes that I happened to bring with me. But all is not lost. I must simply reinvent magic from first principles. That's not actually that much of an exaggeration. Allow me to just illustrate for you. I like this pen, by the way. Much more convenient than a quill and inkwell. And I like the colour. Pink ink. What a concept. Regardless. A ritual to constrain magic, to prevent its use, is in fact an act of magic itself, is it not? A spell which prevents spirits from arriving is a spell. It's magic. And so it must have been performed by a spirit itself. That's the key. Ritual of creating a ward demands that a singular spirit be placed in the center. That spirit is the focal point. And so, if ever that spirit should perish or otherwise be removed from the center of the ritual itself crumbles. And suddenly, the ward falls. And so, the objective is simple. Locate the spirit and remove it. Now, the means by which one might do that, well, typically, in the case of a warded area like this, you could step outside of the ward, yes? And then from the outside, use your magic to sense the inside. Your magic could not stretch in because that would require the spirits to have access. However, spirits do, broadly speaking, have the capacity to sense other spirits. And so, by communing with spirits on the outside, you can learn the location of the spirit within. Then you could simply reach the spirit and, well, do something. That something is, well, where I'm running into a bit of a snag. I know theoretically that it's possible and it has been done. However, typical magical instruction does not educate one on how to dismantle the warding ritual of another. That would be an explicitly hostile act towards the one who performed the ritual, would it not? And so, unless you receive specialized training and certification, it's not typically taught. To put it another way, if someone has put in the effort to create a ward, there's clearly something they intend to protect from spirits, and it's very possible to dismantle such a thing that you created yourself with little hassle. But if someone else created it, you can't simply void the contract with the spirit. You're not party of the contract, right? You're not involved. And so, in the instance that such a thing does need to be dismantled by someone other than the creator, typically you would hire a specialist. But those specialists must have a method. And the spirit must be locatable. And so, I've been thinking. I have been thinking so very much. need to travel. I need to be able to finance travel. Even if the spirits themselves aren't present, I can still reach within my senses just like I used to. And in so doing, I should be able to manage a rough approximation of how thick the ward is in a given location. By extending my senses outwards and seeing what I can feel, I should be able to ascertain whether a given location has a stronger ward or a weaker one. And if I just travel the globe to a few different places, expand my senses, and record the information, I might be able to triangulate the spirit's position and then do something. There are a lot of flaws with this plan, obviously. It's not even a complete plan, but it's the skeleton of one, the start of one. I can figure the rest out. Naturally, though, the first step is funds, and unfortunately, I have sold most of the jewelry I arrived with just to continue affording food and assisting you with rent. I owe you a great deal. This is a nightmare. Well, regardless, the path is quite simple. All I need is gainful employment, so I'm going to spend the next few hours on this career website, and we'll hope I